Hello, everybody. Ender here, and I am back. It has been 2 months since my last YouTube video, and I'm sincerely sorry that it took me so long to get back to this. But with school and 4 classes and work, things just got to be too much. And unfortunately, YouTube is the thing that had to go temporarily. On a positive note, I have some more free time this summer now that I've graduated, and hopefully that'll continue into the future as well, because if I do take any more classes next semester, I'm going to do them at a much slower pace. Now that I have gotten my situation a little more secured and I'm getting ready to move, things should get into a nice place where I can start doing regular videos. The plan is to play here in this world, and we're going to do 2 streams a week on Tuesday and Thursday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern on Twitch and YouTube. I simulcast on both of those. And then maybe I can squeeze in some more streams every once in a while. And then I'm going to release a tutorial video / recap video of all the progress and all the mods that we used that week on Sunday at, I think I'm probably going to do it like noon Eastern time. But the goal is to once a week have a video to recap all the things we did on stream each week. Now, the next couple of weeks, I know I'm just starting this, but just to warn you, I am moving over the next month or so, but I'm going to be traveling a lot, looking for apartments and things. I don't know what my internet's going to be like, so streams might be spotty, if at all, but I'm going to do the best I can, and we'll get into it. But the pack we're going to be playing is All the Mods 9. I did a little bit in All the Mods 7 Skyblock and kind of had a lot of fun with it. And so then I was like, if we're going to do it, let's do it in the newest version. Let's do it in a world that is a full Minecraft world, so we can do a lot of exploration and have a lot of fun. And we're going to do our best to do that. Of course, if you ever want to see all the antics and the fun of exploring, and let's face it, the derpiness and the deaths that occur with it, you can always catch the replays on the YouTube channel. I'm going to have all of those up there for people to watch at any time they want. For now, while I take my boat across this ocean to get to the storage island, I'm going to hand you off to a future Ender, who somebody told me is going to prepare a little creative tutorial on the mods that we've been focusing on throughout the past week. What a nice guy, giving me an intro like that. We are, in fact, in a creative world, and I'm going to show you 3 mods that we used extensively this week to get our storage needs taken care of. The first of those mods is Sophisticated Backpacks. And this mod is like our general storage, carry everything around kind of mod. It has a lot of really rich features and some upgrades that make it possible to do some kind of ridiculous things. So first of all, we start with the regular backpack, which is just made using some leather, some string, and a chest. So it's pretty simple to get, even early game. And that allows you to make a backpack that you can put on your back and hold 1 chest full of items. Once you get a little farther in and you are still running low on space, you can upgrade that into a copper backpack or straight into an iron backpack. The iron backpack doubles your storage. Copper is a little smaller. And then from there, you can use the iron backpack to go into gold backpack, which adds another chest to your storage in your backpack, and then a diamond one that adds another chest, and a netherite backpack that finally adds the last one and gets you to this size. Pretty big backpack. There's a lot of upgrades, a lot of different things you can do. We're going to show a few of them, but there's ones that do some crazy things, like being able to feed yourself directly from the backpack. The backpack will just feed you as you're walking around, so you don't have to worry about food. There are ones that will swap tools out for you. There's ones where you can carry around an anvil inside your backpack, or a crafting table, or a stone cutter. The first one I want to show you, though, is what really makes this pack powerful, and that's the stack upgrade system. So each slot can hold up to 1 stack of items, 64 items in each slot. So a netherite backpack's already pretty big, but I'm going to demonstrate what happens when you use some of these storage upgrades. And I'm going to use the tier 2. They come in 5 different tiers for the regular backpacks, which is the starter tier, which is made out of copper, and then iron, gold, diamond, and netherite, just like the pack upgrades. But what they do is they increase the amount that you can fit into each slot. So like with the copper tier, you get 1.5 times, so you'll be able to hold 96. We're going to demonstrate with the gold just because it's easier to see what's going on. So the gold one, it says you can multiply the number of stacks that fit in a slot by 4. So if you look at the count on this cobblestone, we have gone from 64 to now we can hold 256. What makes this pretty cool is when you add in another stack upgrade, instead of it being 4 plus 4, which would be make it so that you can do 512, we're at 1,024 items. And the reason is you get 4 times 4, 16 stacks. And then if you add in another one, you multiply it by 4 again, you get up to 4,096, which is pretty cool. But now let's say we get all the way up to the point where we have netherite tier upgrades, and 3 is the maximum. But once you have 3 netherite tier upgrades, you have 16 times 16 times 16 stacks in each slot, which means you get a whopping 262,144 of the same item in your backpack. And since you can do that in every slot, you can carry around a lot of stuff. Sophisticated Backpacks has a lot of other upgrades, and we'll get into some of those later on. But it leads us into the next mod that we're going to talk about, which is Sophisticated Storage. Sophisticated Storage is kind of like a companion mod to the backpacks, and it's very similar, except that they're blocks that you place. And you can do it with barrels, you can do it with chests, and you can do it with these limited barrels, which work kind of like the storage drawers mod, where you have a single item that goes in each slot, and it can hold a large amount of them. So you have 1 slot in the limited barrel 1, and then 2, 3, and 4 in the other barrels. And so you can hold a lot of just a single item. So like if I were to take some cobblestone here, you can put cobblestone in each of these slots. You could put different items. You could do whatever you want and make storage walls that have all your different items to your heart's content. Now, these also have upgrades. Let's bring up that mod so we can see some of those. They work very similar. They have similar types of things, but they are made a little differently. Instead of the upgrades being made with leather, they're made with wood and iron. But the upgrades are very similar. The one we're going to focus on is the storage ones again. So, these also have tiers for the barrels, where you go from just a regular barrel all the way up into copper barrels, iron barrels, all the way to netherite barrels like the one I have here. And it has the same size inventory as a netherite backpack, which is each upgrade, with the exception of the copper, it adds 1 extra chest of inventory storage to that block that you use. And that's the same for the barrels and for the chests. The tiers on the limited barrels increases the storage to just increase the total amount of storage the barrel can hold. If we look at the barrels in here, we can see that in a barrel 1 with no stack upgrades of any kind, we can hold 10,240 items. And then with the other barrels, it's the same, but they're split across the different ones. This one's a little bit less total because it's split 3 ways. I don't know why. Probably just to keep it nice and even. But even on the 4, you get 10,000 items total. They're just split across all the different items. Now, what makes this really cool in the barrels is that barrels are also use stack upgrades, and you can actually go all the way up to 4 stack upgrades. Diamond is the highest tier for the storage, but with 4 diamond stack upgrades in a netherite barrel, you are able to hold a whopping 671 million of the same item. Now, what I prefer to do is to do 1 less stack upgrade and put in a void upgrade, and that means you'll hold 41 million items, and then once you get more than that, it'll start to void them. But you can also do this with less items or less stack upgrades, and so this barrel would get to 10,000, and then it would void any excess. So there's lots of different applications you can do with that, and that is pretty cool. Third mod we're going to feature is RF Tools Storage. And eventually in this playthrough, I'm going to get into refined storage, and then after that, I'll get into applied energistics to do some auto crafting. Those are two similar mods, but I think that applied energistics has a little bit better auto crafting. It's more complex, but I think it can do a little bit more, in my opinion. So I think that's where we're going to head. But early game, I want to do a storage where I can access items in a digital way without having to use so many resources. And basically, I just want to focus on featuring another mod. So RF Tool Storage is the one that I'm going to set up. And the way it works is you have a storage scanner, and you can select the radius of how far that storage scanner can see. So you see if it's down here, you can't see anything. If you go farther up, you can see a little bit more. If you go all the way up to 20, you can see 20 blocks away from the storage scanner. And then you can connect it to any inventories you want there. So these are all these different chests and barrels I have here. And the one that says air is because it's connecting to this backpack inventory here. So if I take that cobblestone out, take that cobblestone out, we can see that it is not being put in there. I just took it out of the other storage. But so if I go over here and I put this cobblestone back in, we have 128 in that backpack. So now the total here is increased back up. Now, when you put things into storage through this interface, it's going to take them and it's going to put them in the nearest available storage for that. So this chest is where things are going now because it's the closest thing to the scanner. So that is something you want to keep in mind when you're using the storage scanner. It's not in itself super smart with placing items, but you can set it up in ways so that it will place things where you want them to. Finally, we've come outside here so I can show you how we're going to use some of these mods together to do some of the things in our base. And this is a combination of RF Tool Storage with the controllers that come with sophisticated storage. And it's pretty powerful once you understand what it's doing here. So let me bring out a storage tool so that we can see the links here. So these storage controllers, they will link to any storages that are just connected to them, kind of like the storage drawers mod. When you had a drawer next to a controller, became part of that network. But you can also link them using this linking tool, and they can link all the way up to 16 blocks away from it. So if you look here and I set this up, it's trying to link to that, it will link this one, but it won't link this one because it's 17 blocks away. And so 16 blocks in any direction from that block, including diagonally, we can connect any inventory in that space. And that includes up and down. I didn't demonstrate the down because frankly that would put us out of the world, but you can go 16 blocks down or up from the storage controller and connect it to any of those inventories. And that's pretty crazy because you can get a huge amount of inventories connected to one controller. But what makes it really, really cool to me is that if you come in here, I'm going to put this down just so I can demonstrate this. And I'm going to break this and put a new one in just so I can reset it. I just have a creative generator here to power this just for demonstration. You would have a power source that connects to this. It doesn't take a lot of power. Let's set this up so that it's only got a small radius. And so now we can see this netherite barrel. So it can see that crafting table in there. I can take it out. I can put it back in and it will store it in this netherite barrel. That's the simple features that we have from this storage scanner. Let's do one that's a little farther away. So now if we go the full radius, we can see from here, we can see this storage. We can see the storage. See, this one is. So I can see all the storages that are on this level, I think. So that one there, this one here, and this one there. If we put items in here directly, well, we have to link it to the storage scanner. I think it's this one that we're now linked to. Let's find out. Yeah. So this one is now linked to that. We can put things in there directly, and that would be fine. But what we can do also is we can connect to this storage controller And since this controller is connected to all of those storage containers, and now let's connect it to this one as well. Now it can see the items that are in those controllers or in those containers that are connected to that controller without actually being connected to those systems at all. So what makes this really cool is this barrel down here. That storage scanner is out of range of this barrel because storage scanner can only scan 20 blocks away. But it can see that controller, and so it can see the blue dye in that barrel at the far end. And we can also put it in there and have it store from 36 blocks away. Which means in my storage room that I'm building, I can have a storage scanner that's centrally located. It can connect to storage scanners, and then those storage scanners have huge radiuses that they can connect to, and this one scanner can see all of it. It's going to be a very powerful early game tool. I gotta tell you guys, these waters are pretty dangerous. I don't know if you can see that guy out there, but he's basically like an underwater Enderman that throws tridents, and he does not like me at all. Fortunately, I was able to get a ride with a friendly fisherman on his boat, and as a reward for that, I'm going to bring him with us. That's a little preview of the Easy Villagers mod that we're going to be playing with in this pack quite a bit. Let's take our boat in real close now because we are right next to our storage island here. You can see it coming up. It's glorious. It is a big cobblestone box. That's just how we're getting started. There's another one trying to murder me. Basically on the stream this week, we started by laying out a design for the inside, and I've just started building up the outside to have some thickness to the walls, and we're going to work on doing an outer exterior this upcoming week, hopefully. But inside here, we have quite a bit going on. We have started kind of laying out the shape. Now everything is made out of oak and cobblestone, and that's just because that's what I had to start things out while we were streaming, and we just needed to farm some more stuff. I got a little bit of the shape laid out, but mostly I'm just focusing on the form right now, and we'll get everything figured out as far as our design once we get the structure up and running. For now, I want to show you the storage stuff that we have set up here. And so the first thing is this wall here, which is all of our mob drops. So this is using sophisticated storage. We have a bunch of limited barrels that hold each of these items and a controller that controls them. And you can see if you shift and look at it, you can see everything that's connected to this storage controller network. So the farm we set up in order to supply us with those drops is this one here. We started with a really classic mob farm design, Etho's old design. It just has some small spawning pads up there so that mobs would spawn and then they fall down. And we built this chamber. One just fell in and landed right on the mob masher. So inside there we have mob masher for mob grinding utilities, and then we have some fans that are pushing all the mobs as they spawn and fall into that. We used that to get some fluid XP, which we were able to use to make some dreadful dirt, which is basically like cursed earth, if you remember that from old mods. But the spawning on dreadful dirt only happens when I'm far enough away that spawning can happen, but that happens really quick. And so we get a lot of mob spawns, they get ground up. We have an absorption hopper here that picks up all the items and the XP and stores it for us. And if we want to pull out some XP, we just open the tap and very quickly we can level up. We have almost 600 buckets of XP, fluid XP in there. It's pretty decent. I also put in an ender inhibitor so the enderman can't teleport away. That way they get pushed into the thing. Because the main purpose of this was to get ender pearls, because you need a lot of them for the storage components and things that we are using. As far as the storage, the way that works, grab my tool. If you see, this storage controller here is where the hopper feeds into. I have that linked into the wall down here. let me break our way in here so I can show you exactly how this works. I have a drawer here, or a barrel here, and this is where everything gets deposited. Underneath it, I have a diamond barrel, and it has a hopper upgrade so that this barrel works as a hopper, and it can pull items in, and they put the items into this drawer, and then, or this barrel. I keep saying drawer because I'm so used to storage drawers. The void upgrades here are set up to do a little bit of voiding. So basically, when I had a bunch of items that I wanted to get rid of, I started adding them to this, and we ran out of space, so we'll have to do something in the next stream to expand on that. But it automatically voids these items if they show up in the inventory. And then the second void upgrade automatically voids anything from these 3 mods. So that way, since I'm getting a ton of the things and I'm not really using them right now, I set them to be voided automatically. That way we don't even have to deal with them. Now we do have some things in here that are staying, like the slime balls, because we've run out of space for them, so we're gonna have to deal with that too. But once they get into this drawer or this barrel, there is a pipe that runs down and puts it into this controller. So this controller was the one that connects to all these barrels and automatically pipes it in. So the only thing that'll get piped out of this drawer using those pipes is something that already has a space. So that is that. Let me grab some cobblestone so that I can fix that and close it back up. And then that leads us over to this drawer system, this barrel system. And this one is kind of similar. I'm starting to add more to it. These are for blocks that we want to get stored up. I'm just manually putting them in for now. Eventually we will have a way where we can just drop them off from our bag where we collect them. The only exception is the cobblestone. So if we, let me sleep since it's nighttime. Outside here we have a cobblestone generator that we built on stream, and it uses some really simple mechanics from Create. So we have 2 water wheels here that are generating some rotational force, and we're speeding that up using some gear ratios to make this mechanical drill really fast. And it's breaking cobblestone for us and feeding it into this storage controller. And just like the other one, this one links in here to a drawer. This one is set up slightly different, but very similarly. I have a drawer at the top, barrel at the top, barrel at the top, and it has a hopper upgrade that is pushing items down, and it has a void upgrade so that if it gets any overflow in this drawer, it will void it. So that shows you how the other void setting for this upgrade. That gets fed into here, and then the pipe pulls it out and puts it into this storage controller here. And so the idea is this will keep getting cobblestone, it'll get fed in here. As long as there's space down here, it'll keep getting moved in. Once that fills up, this overflow will fill up the whole way. Then this will fill up, and once this fills up, it'll start voiding. So we can keep making cobblestone all day long, and we don't have to worry about it overflowing our system. And so I just have this closed up so that we can't see it. And then over here, we just have some general storage by our enchantment area that is just miscellaneous items that are sorted by hand. And the idea here, I started with this, and the idea is that I'm making sections for things that I am going to be building, and then this wall will slowly get emptied as I put sections around this room to store things. The next one I want to work on is setting up some planting systems using botany pots to plant all these different plants so I can have a plant wall. And it'll be set up similar to the ones over here. We will have an area for farming, probably above, and those farms out there might also get moved above to feed down in. And then that way we can have a section on the wall that is just for the plants, and then we'll have all the plants that we need. And then we'll do that for all of these different things, and we're slowly working through them, and eventually we'll have all of these things automatically sorted. Now, the reason I did the wall the way I did is because this storage scanner is placed strategically so that it can reach storage scanners that are against these walls back here, which are my main ones. But I can reach any wall in the room as far as storage containers, because I can take a storage controller and I can put it in underneath here, anywhere along this row of spruce stairs. And so let's pull up our grid for chunks, and you'll see that all of these are within 20 blocks of this controller, which is above this coal generator, which we need to automate to power our system. It doesn't use a lot of power, but we do need to make it so that this won't run out. And if we put storage controllers here, we can link it to that storage scanner, and then we'll be able to access these controllers. And these controllers, if we place them within the chunks, or technically just within 16 blocks, we can do that. If we have a controller in strategic places, we can get to every piece of cobblestone in this wall, so we can put storage containers anywhere and link them up through controllers to this scanner, and have one scanner that accesses the entire room very easily. And then in here, all we have to do is link those controllers, and we can access everything, and it will put things back where they're supposed to go. I haven't quite figured out what I'm going to do for like bulk overflow and stuff for when things are done, but that's going to be worked out too. But that is the storage systems for the room setup. Let me show you what I have done for our backpacks. So right now I have 2 of them that are in my inventory here, and then I also have the backpack that's on my back. This one is just kind of my junk backpack, where I'm just I'm constantly sorting it out to figure out where things need to go and trying to keep things on me. But then these are a little more organized. This one is my mining backpack. This is set up so that we have some stack upgrades, so we can hold a large amount of single items in here. Right now I can hold 1,000 of each block before it overflows to the next. And then I have a void upgrade that is set to void any overflow if the pack fills up. And then I have a magnet upgrade, and it is set so that any block that's already in the bag, if it falls on the ground, we will pick it up. So let's do, just to demonstrate it, I'm going to grab a stack of cobblestone, and I'm going to throw it on the ground. And did you see, as soon as it went out, the magnet pulled it in and put it inside here. So actually we could do it this way. Let's pull these back out and put it in our inventory. As soon as we throw that, it just gets picked back up and put it in here. So while we're mining, all of these items get picked up automatically by our backpack. And so we can mine for days without our inventory filling up. And if you notice, there's a bunch of ores in here. That's because we used our enchanting and our huge number of levels to get a pick that has all the basic things from a mining pick that you'd want. But we also got up to Fortune 5 because you can go as high as you want with Apotheosis. I don't know if there's a limit. I haven't found it yet. We also added mending so that it can be healed with XP, which is of course important. But we also added unusing, which makes it so the pick can never break. Gets down to 1 durability and you try to use it, it just won't go. But then Boon of the Earth is a enchantment. I'm not sure which pack adds Boon of the Earth. Let's pull it up so we can see. Boon of the Earth is added by Apotheosis, and we'll be able to get that even higher. But it makes it so that when you mine stone, you get ores that drop. And so while I'm mining, random ores will fall on the ground as well when I'm just mining cobblestone or deep slate, which is really cool. Extra resources for free. The other pack is just an overflow pack where I'm just throwing things that I'm still trying to sort out. It was originally my block pack, and I'm slowly getting these moved into the correct places. But the goal is to make it so that this will hold anything that we're mining while we're in the overworld or the nether. I even put in Crimson Stem so that when I was in the nether doing some things, when I vein mined those trees, they just went right in here. And so basically, while I'm mining, if something shows up in my inventory, I can just set it to put it into this bag, and the bag will pick up the rest of that item. And then when I bring it back, I can put it where I need it to be, and we'll have plenty of resources. So those are the things we got up to this week. I hope you enjoyed the way we're doing things with the a little bit of a tutorial and a little bit of a walkthrough of the bases and stuff. I'm going to keep trying to iron that out and see the best ways to do it, but I would love to have some feedback if you like it, if you don't like it, if you think there's some things I'm missing out on, anything that you want to say, you can hit me up down in the comments, and hopefully I'll see you guys again in a couple of days when I do my next stream. So thank you for watching. I really appreciate your support, especially while I was gone for a while. I hope to see you again soon. Bye-bye.